wants it here. I feel so fancy. I don't know why I was so resistant to this for so long, because it's not hard.
It seems intense though. It does seem like a lot.
Oh.
Happy years on the phone and passes on the phone.
I'll see that. Yeah, so I am going back to my feed. Okay, we are live and in action. Let me make sure I'm going to share our screen. One thing at a time, except for it's not there. Hold on. Everything was operational. All right, we are sharing. Welcome to Sarah Smith's Go Team meeting. I'm going to turn it over to our phenomenal chairperson, Simona. Take it away.
Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to the Sarah Smith October. I'm sorry. October. Javier, please correct that. October Go Team meeting where we will follow the agenda as it has been emailed to you and publicly noticed on the Sarah Smith website. I would like to remind everyone that this is a meeting of the Go Team. Only members of the team may participate in discussion. Any members of the public who are present are here to quietly observe. For members of the Go Team, please identify yourself when we speak. I am pleased to call this meeting to order at 3:05 p.m. The first order of business is to call roll. The secretary will now take the roll.
Put it on the screen for you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Simona Hinton
Present.
and Mintman,
Here.
Liz Zielinski,
Present.
Lisa Carter.
Present.
Do I have to call Jennifer Moore? I know she's not there.
Not here.
Jennifer Moore, absent. Okay. Prissy Stewart,
Here.
Latricia Smith,
Present.
Elsie Bunker,
Here.
and myself, I'm present. Javier Rizal.
Do you call you? Awesome. That's everybody.
Thank you. This team will only be able to take official action if a quorum is present. Javier, is there a quorum?
Yes, there is.
Thank you. There is a quorum present. So now we can move to action items. The first action item is to approve the agenda. The agenda was provided to each Go Team member, as well as copies are available on the Go Team page of the Sarah Smith website. Does anyone have any changes to the agenda?
Nope. No.
May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda. Ann Mittman.
I second.
I second them.
Ms. Carter seconded first.
Yeah, you wanted to, Javier, but she beat you.
All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? And abstentions.
Yeah.
So the agenda has passed. The second order of business is to approve the minutes. The minutes have been provided to each Go Team member, as well as copies are available on the Go Team page of the Sarah Smith website. Are there any corrections to the minutes?
Have them here as well if we need to. Hearing none. Anybody?
If there are no corrections to the minutes, may I have a motion to approve previous minutes? May I have a motion to approve the previous meeting's minutes?
This is Prissy Stewart. I motion
To
to approve.
I move to approve,
approve.
yes.
Ann Mittman, second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? And any abstentions? Thank you. The minutes have passed. We do not have any additional action items at this time. So the next section that we will move to is the discussion. We have two discussion items that will be presented by the principal. Share Access 2025 data, which is a carryover from last meeting, and our 2025 to 2030 strategic plan development.
And Javier reminded me that I had said I would send you some additional data, because remember I had missed a student group when we met before, so I'm gonna try to minimize our friends here for a minute. I had this last time when we looked, at our student groups for the milestones from last year, and we had noted that I had missed clicking the button to add Hispanic. I also, when I added Hispanic, I also kept economically disadvantaged on, because that's one of the groups that they look at with CCRPI as well. And it is a population that is continuously growing here in our community in North Atlanta in general. And so I wanted to make sure to include them in this as we're reviewing it. And I think this is good to remind us what we looked at last time, because we're going to be kind of using that data as well as the data from our key performance indicators later. So I thought this is a good refresher. The top part shows the percentage of students who were proficient in reading, English language arts and above, and the bottom is that developing and above. And the rationale for showing both is we're aiming for everybody to be proficient and above, but the state gives us credit from the developing and above as well. So seeing both those numbers concurrently is good. So we did notice and wonders last time with it. Adding in the Hispanic and economically disadvantaged, is there anything you guys notice? And that's the teal and the orange, the lighter orange.
So I noticed they're all upward trends in the developing, except for white.
It's roughly.
It's pretty much, yeah,
close.
pretty close, because once you get to that point.
You can see that the fact that our Hispanic student group outperforms the ELs, because the Hispanic student group is going to be those students who are Hispanic and not ESOL, and those ESOL students who have exited and are in years 3 and 4 and beyond. So it's a little bigger group, brings in more students. Okay, let's look at the same with math, and we could talk about more if you want.
Percentage wise, what is considered developing, like numbers wise, when they're scoring them?
It's a 2, a 2. Is that what you mean?
Out of 5?
On the milestones,
Mhm.
4.
2 out of 4, okay.
Uh-huh.
So 50.
Kind of like a 50%.
It's not, it doesn't really work that way.
Okay.
It's a bigger range, the developing, beginning as a small little range, distinguished as a small range, and then the developing is a big chunk, and then proficient is, you have to get to that 525 to get to the proficient, but it's developing is fairly easy to get to, but you kind of get stuck there for a while. It's kind of the way I look at it.
Are these similar numbers that we would see like correlated with their MAP scores?
Yes,
Does
there's
it
a
correlate
pretty
well?
close correlation in math and language arts. It's about 85% is
Mhm.
what they tell us that it correlates to. So we do use it as a pretty close predictor. What we see is actually students do better than predicted on milestones than from MAP, because milestones is a criterion-based test, and it's based on what the kids have been being taught. Whereas MAP is skills-based and can incorporate a lot of different things. So we actually see usually a little bit higher performance on milestones than we do on MAP.
So now that I understand that, you have this wide range, because the range is so wide, it seems like that's why the numbers are so high. Because it's including a big gap of students who even within the range have different skill levels, because you can have kids that's right under proficient and
Mhm.
kids that's right above beginning, but
Mhm.
they're all considered the same.
It really is, that's the kicker. To get all the way up to proficient, you really have to be at about the 60, they say about 63 to 65, the percentile on math to get to proficient or higher. And we know that average is 50, but that developing goes from that like 26 all the way up. So it's a big chunk. And so I think that is probably part of the rationale as to why the state accepts, developing when they're doing content mastery for us. But of course, we are looking for proficient. But so you can kind of see, we can get kids to that developing, but our goal and the way we're really focusing on doing this, one of the ways this year is particularly in third, fourth, and fifth, they have this document that's called achievement level descriptors that takes each standard and it shows you what that standard looks like for a beginner, developing, proficient, and distinguished. And so every week, the teachers are looking at what standards they're teaching. They're comparing it to those achievement level descriptors. They're looking at their instructional materials, making sure that what they're selecting to use builds the skills, but that also arrives at that level of the standard. And that when we're testing kids, we're testing them at the level 2 to see if the kids are getting there, at the level 3 to see if they're getting there, as well as level 4, that distinguished level. We find very often that distinguished level isn't assessed very often on a lot of the assessments that we give. So oftentimes, for example, in math, they're creating them to get up to that level.
So this is all classroom based.
When they're doing it in the PLCs, yeah, or the district-based assessments, or even the assessments that are in the curricular programs, because they're kind of geared towards reaching that level, not surpassing it. Usually the difference between a 3 and a 4 is that you can take that skill, apply it in another context, and add some extra steps in the real world. And so I wanted you guys to see those, because we had missed those 2 groups, and I think it's important to include them. And now I'm very click happy in there. And I wanted to share access information, but before I shared access information, I think it's always important to look at the context of who our kids are that are taking the access. And please, Kesa, as an expert in our ESOL population, you have been working with them for several years. You can, I want to make sure you can see all my little things outside of this guy. We have 131 total language learners this year currently. I did this yesterday, maybe, or the day before. And it may have changed. I think we added one. And then you can see the number of years that they have been in the ESOL program. You're wondering, how could a kid here have been 7 years? Well, you figure if they're pre-K, well, actually, they don't start in ESOL until kindergarten, but if they've been retained and they're in 5th grade, then they will have hit that 7th year. Same with the years in US schools. So you can see how many we have that are beginners in the first couple of years, and that affects scores. In our resources, we can click on and see who all those kids are as well. You can see that 80 of the 180 plus of the 131 really are in DLI. When you look at, we have 30 in pull out and 5 in push in. And then you can see down here, some of our ESOL students also have multiple eligibilities for things. So you'll have kids that are EIP. So about half of these ESOL students are eligible for EIP, which is a good indicator of these kids are probably the ones who are more likely to be scoring in that beginning. They can sometimes get developing too, because it goes up to the 30th percentile. But we also have some ESOL students who are in the gifted program, who are in their first year. And the MTSS is if they're in that tiered process, tiers to get extra intervention, as well as some students are eligible for students with disabilities. And then speaking of students with disabilities, this demonstrates the different disabilities that exist within our language learners. So when we get data back, many of our ESOL students hit many of those student groups. They hit the ESOL group, the language learner group. They hit the Hispanic group. They may hit the students with disabilities. So it goes on and on. So every student counts at least once, but some students count multiple times for us. And so my next slide, should I get there, is some access information. And I'm going to start above the line, above the blue line, because I tried to squeeze as much as I could. When you're looking over here, the test they take that measures their language proficiency is called the access test. And if you're above me, I'm sorry. We have 6 levels that students can come out with from 1 to 6. The average for students to reach a proficiency level, like level 5 or 6, is from 4 to 7 years, is what the research shows. And so what we do when we look at our students is we look, okay, have they been with us 4, 3, 4, 5 years? Are they getting up near these 4, 5s, and 6s? Or are they getting stuck down at these 1, 2s, and 3s? This is for our 1st through 5th graders, how they fell on the access test. The access test measures listening, speaking, reading, and writing. The composite score integrates all 4 of those domains. The comprehension score integrates listening comprehension and reading comprehension. The literacy score integrates reading and writing together. And then the oral does listening and speaking. So you can kind of see how our proficiency levels from last school year mesh out. This does include, and I kept the tested kids, so it does include the students who are currently in 6th grade that moved on, because I wanted you to have the whole picture.
So this is 2025 school year end results.
Yes. Because they'll start taking it late January through February, and we get the results usually May. It takes a while.
And this is an average of the whole school.
This is the percentage of students who fell into each of these proficiency levels.
I see.
That are
ESOL students.
The ESOL students, yes.
Okay, yes,
Mhm.
okay.
And so, ooh, somebody's got to move. Kelsey and Javier, just jump in if you need us, okay? Because I can't see you right now. Down below it, we also look at their student growth percentile, which ranks them as either having high growth, typical growth, or low growth. And of course, we're wanting everybody to at least be typical growth. And last year, we were a third. And so to dig into that a little bit further, and that's compared to their peers, if you come below the blue line, in my 5th grade, you can kind of see it, right? It kind of slid off there. But they're not here anyhow. They're out of here. And so if you look, you can see over here, when you look at the points, those are just like the points we get on milestones for CC RPI progress. If a student scores in beginning, we get 0 points for them. If they score in developing, we get half a point. If they score proficient, we get a point. And if they score distinguished, or the highest level, they get 1.5 points. And so when you look at how overall our progress is, they are surpassing the expectation.
We're killing the job.
Yeah,
But this is what we should be looking at for our SLs.
yes, this is. But you can look at it and see, so if we're looking at the cohorts, you can see this group of first graders are now our second graders, these are our third graders, these are our fourth graders, and these are our fifth graders. So anything you'd like to process with that stuff?
I would like to ask, and let me know if I'm out of context. This same data that's being captured for English language speakers, is it being applied for students who are learning to speak Spanish?
We have data on stamp, on the e-stamp of how students are performing. That is much like the access that we could look at as well. I could bring another time. It does not go to the state for anything. It's local district data. But I could bring that another time to look at, because it is something that we're working on developing, if that's something you'd be interested in. Then we could kind of.
So one grade kind of sticks out as different.
It does. Which grade do you
As,
see?
as the third grade kind of sticks out as different.
That are currently fourth graders, and I would have to dig in and I'd have to ask if you know, if this was maybe where we have a lot of beginners. It
So usually our newcomers come to us in third grade. A lot of them come in third grade.
Like new to the school?
last year, do you know if that was the
Mhm,
case?
Because we had them in fourth grade this year.
Mhm.
So that could be a
Specific
factor.
grade.
Because as I was looking at it, it did, like, I was
Mhm.
wondering, is there any historic, like, if I go back and I look at
Mhm.
previous years,
Mhm.
is that consistent?
I would be interested in
Yeah.
knowing that too, because I probably haven't
Mhm.
paid that close attention to it.
I,
And this is only, access is
But I
only
do
for the,
know that,
ESOL students.
the bulk of our newcomers right now are in fourth grade.
And newcomers, you mean new to Sarah Smith,
New to the
New
United
to the
States.
country.
new to the country.
Mhm.
Okay.
And
so it's not I get this all mixed up.
New to the
Not
country
given-
within
less than a year?
less than a year.
Mhm. Mhm.
not given in Spanish, it's
It's
given
in
in
English, it's
English,
assessing their English proficiency.
regardless of
Yeah, whether they speak English,
language.
Spanish, Japanese, and you saw that.
And
first
So if
slide,
they
the
come as a
languages.
newcomer, they know no English, they're still getting
There's
this
scores
assessment. So,
that, yeah.
right, okay.
And oftentimes it's really hard to see that growth for those kids. And very often it's those beginners that can quickly jump from a level 1 to a high 2 or even into a 3. But getting from a 3 to a 4 is really tough, because it's moving from your basic interpersonal communication skills to like receiving language to more cognitive academic language. And that's where all of those instructional strategies and interventions really come into play.
Okay, so I have two things. The first thing is I looked it up because I'm nosy. And access stands for assessing comprehension and communication in English state to state
Yes.
for English language learners,
Yes.
just for the record.
Thank you.
Because I am like, I need to know what
We
this
have so
means.
many acronyms in
Yes,
education.
okay,
Yeah.
and then the second thing I'm thinking, just the way my mind works, is it would be like, I love seeing the overall data, but I think it would be super helpful to like break it down by, regardless of grade, age, but like students in their first year, what does their growth look like? All students in their second year, how is their growth? Students that have been, because you're saying like it generally takes 3 to 4 years to kind of make that. It might be helpful to kind of view it that way, so that you have, whether you're in first grade or your third grade, you're still going to be in your first year in
Mhm.
ESOL. So I would love to see like the growth from for year 1 to year 2, regardless of if you're in first grade or third grade,
Mhm.
like just see that cohort of like all year 1 students. Do that make sense? All year one students, all year two students, like.
Yeah, like, are we
where they're
meeting their
falling,
needs if
like
they're in
this-
year
this-
one, year two,
this
because they
composite
are different
comprehensive-
grades.
Yeah, they're
right.
different grades, but like how their growth is in like those individual.
And right now, I don't think I have a dashboard for that.
There's
That
not a
could do
button
it.
to click.
There's no button, which I love having a button. I have to tell you, I was a principal in Cobb. We didn't have anything. like this. This is so amazing. But I can ask our DIG, our data information group, to create something like that so we could see.
Because we could look
Yeah,
at
just-
their
that's amazing.
access data from the year that they came. We could look at it each year.
Yeah.
To see the growth for
Yeah.
those particular children. So we'd have to know who our newcomers are
Mhm.
and then track their access growth.
Mhm.
I don't know how to do that, but I'm sure.
Well,
there's a
I think
way
I
to do
could
it.
talk to her, and maybe what I'll do is when I can get her on the line, I know she's coming to do something with our admin team, but it's not till December, but if I
'Cause
could
that
get her on the
probably would be
phone, maybe
helpful
you
for
and I could.
us too,
See,
to
like
know
in year
if
one,
what we're
the growth
doing is working or not, or do we need to be doing something different?
Mhm, because I know each individual teacher looks at it for their kids, but then us in general looking at, so maybe there's a year, like if they're in year 2 to year
Mhm.
3, we see that those are the kids maybe not getting
Mhm.
over the hump, then
Mhm.
maybe,
And
that's
it's
a good point.
gonna be different if the children who come, let's say they're a first year in third grade, if they've had school
Mhm.
in their native
That's true.
language for,
It's a lot of factors.
That's a
that
lot of-
go into it,
Yeah.
and a lot of times these babies, they're very transitional, so
Mhm.
they have
don't
been
have to-
multiple places too, so has their level of education been consistent or not?
yeah, I'm just thinking of a kindergartner who's a first year
Mhm.
and a third grader who may have had schooling, knows how to do school.
Or may not have. had
Or
school.
may
or
not
may
have
not
had
have had
school.
school.
So if, help me out here. So if you're a first year in kindergarten and you're a first year in third grade, does this test provide grade level? Like, are you gonna get first year grade level reading material and third year or is there just like,
It's the same.
it's the same?
It's developmentally the same,
Okay.
but they're different assessments. Like
Okay.
kindergarten has a one-on-one assessment. It's
Okay.
very play oriented, picture oriented. But then starting like first
Mhm.
through and second have a test, and then
Okay.
third, I'm trying to remember because it's changed.
The
They're
writing is,
scaffolded.
the writing is scaffold and, but they all start, I don't really know about the K2 to be
Mhm.
honest, but,
There's like a K and then a 1-2 test.
but they start with the same assessment and they may go a little higher, little, it's adaptable somewhat.
Mhm.
Okay,
It does.
interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I also, I'm gonna write down here to, and Javier's gonna remind me to get E-stamp data. I love that reminder, Javier. Thank you. And so that was the beginning of our discussion item.
You
Yeah.
still have the floor. You do. Discussion item number 2, which is,
Make sure.
yeah, the strategic, yeah,
Okay.
you're still in.
I do want us to look, we have 3 meetings to cover all this. So if it starts going long and our brains get tired, we can pause and pick it up next time, okay? As I was preparing everything, we were all very fortunate that we all went to the summit, and so we have, yes, but she's done her studying. We did miss you, but it was your birthday weekend, so we're happy that you were not. And so, we have a good base of information for this as opposed to like schools and groups that didn't go. So, first of all, if you have not seen, this is APS's, I got all this stuff on my screen now, mission and vision. And why is it? I don't want to annotate, thank you. Is that we are Atlantis Public School System and we exist, the why, they're starting with the why too. I didn't tell them to do that, they just did it. Is to educate and empower Atlanta students to shape the future. you'll see they've revised their mission and vision this school year, which is nice and simple. And first, we're going to start by looking at the district's strategic plan. So we kind of, because when we develop our strategic plan, the district is our model. Then each school develops a strategic plan, and actually the clusters are developing a strategic plan that addresses the needs of the clusters as well. But one of the things that I felt was really helpful as principals when we were really kind of learning about this is they kind of broke it down, and there are 6 focus areas. And we also will have 6 focus areas on our strategic plan. The black ones are the instructional core, the caring for every child and sparking student curiosity. What do you think they mean by strengthening the instructional core? What would that be focused on?
Support for teachers,
Mhm.
having the right materials that they need.
Having solid practices across the board.
Aligning with modern education.
Yeah, exactly. What about caring for every child?
Our student care team.
Yes, we have our child, our
Our
whole child,
supports are available
Support
for
system.
all students.
all those supports, those wraparound
Mhm.
services. Also it's gonna be like attendance, make sure kids are here. What about we are sparking student curiosity?
Educating and beyond just ELA and math.
Yeah,
Mhm.
such
Making
as,
sure that
Engaging.
students are engaged.
yeah,
STEM.
STEM,
Science,
IB, critical thinking, the arts. You know, there's schools that don't even offer arts anymore, not in APS, but otherwise. And then the red ones, our strength is our team, our responsibility is shared, and our system is efficient and effective. So with our strength is our team, what do you think that means?
We're all working together for all the children.
But also supports for the
Supporting the
team,
teachers.
retention,
Retention of
engagement,
teachers,
yeah.
engaging the community.
Continuing education.
Parents engaged as part of the team.
Mhm. And then our responsibility is shared.
Not just one person's job.
We-
Students take responsibility as they get older.
We all have that accountability, yes. Oh, hello. And our system is efficient and effective.
Technology, it needs to work.
Facilities.
Facilities, this is where facilities
Yeah.
comes in. Once I looked at it that way, this didn't seem as busy to me. Because this is just a lot all at once to look at. But again, if you look at, these are those areas, those focus areas. And then underneath each is, those bullets are the 3 action steps or accountability pieces that they're really focused on as a district.
They flipped it.
It is. I flipped it because to me, this should come first. The back to basics piece should come first. So when I think about it, I think about that piece first and then I do this piece. So I flipped it on the page before. Just because it's all about the instruction. We got to start there. And so we will be developing this for our school. Slowly but surely. So these are we have 3 goals as a district: to improve ELA by 20 points, to improve math. Well, it's 3rd grade ELA, 8th grade math, and then the college career readiness indicator by 20 points. For each focus area, those 6 focus areas, they have key performance indicators. And if you remember, we got to look at our key performance indicators, which you guys have there. I made a copy because I didn't know if you'd be able to see it on the screen. And so those of you at home, you're gonna have to look on the screen. And so we will also be taking our goals and using our key performance indicators that we have here.
And just for clarity, in that chart, that is APS's.
This is APS's actual.
Statistics.
Yes,
Okay.
this one is for sure. ours on the sheet that we're gonna look at shortly is our specific school data as provided to us by our district. Thank you for doing that. And so now that we kind of have the big picture, we're starting with that end in mind. We're gonna move forward to, as Travis said, when he worked with us, he's like, many of us have worked on strategic planning in our careers, at schools, in our home lives. Those budgets, always working on that one. But if you kind of look at this upside down triangle, we start with our mission and vision and then our strategic goals. And that is what is our purpose? What do we do? What's our picture of the future? Oh, she's calling. And what results do we want to satisfy our stakeholder needs? Over in the box, it shows the district's mission, vision, strategic goals. We are educating and empowering Atlanta students to shape the future. That's their mission and vision now. And then we have those literacy, numeracy, and college and career readiness. When you look at the focus areas, we know one of them was that we are caring for every child. There's how many? Do you remember how many focus areas? Six. You guys are so smart. That's the main areas of our work. We know there's a lot of other things that come into that. But then after focus areas, we have objectives. And those are like those little bullets that were next to it. Those are going to be our objectives. And one of those examples was to expand strategies that reduce chronic absenteeism. That's one of the things the district's doing. For example, they've gotten us all a program called Everyday Labs that we're using that's connected for attendance a lot better. And then you have key performance indicators because we have to be able to evaluate if what we're doing is working. Although sometimes it's a lot of things that contribute to something working, not just that one strategy or objective. And so on our sheet, we would have something tied to attendance. And then from that, then at the local school level, we develop strategies and actions. All right. He was very good at explaining what is our role as the Go team. And then back to the school level, what we work on the strategies and actions. And so I already bumped into his. That's what he said. This is our work. So over the course of the next couple of meetings, we are going to accomplish this for our strategic plan. Today, our big focus is on mission and vision and strategic goals. After that, we'll work on this one at our next meeting. So we always have to have a purpose. We will, the reason we're revising the strategic plan, which you have our last one for the last 5 years in front of you as well, is as the district changes theirs, we need to revisit ours. And not just because we want it to look the same and to feel the same, but if we've been doing some things and it's not yielding results, we've got to change what we're doing. And so our timeline is to get the goals and objectives updated, approved, and ranked by January 2026. And so that we can use it as we begin to focus on strategies for our budget for next year. And we are going to do just fine. So we're going to be using 3 resources today. You got the strategic plan from 2020 to 2025. You have our continuous improvement plan goals. These are not ours. These are Bentine's as an example that he used in our training. And then we have our school data sheet with our KPIs. All right. And so we have all those. I will provide our goals in the slides. I've copied and pasted them already.
It is KPI.
KPI are key performance indicators. Okay. That's basically the data to support what you're doing or to see if what you're doing is working. It's a whole new acronym.
Yes, that's what I'm thinking.
And so this is the steps in the planning process. If you remember, we've been reviewing data last month, and we started today with reviewing it once more. We're going to look now to align our mission and vision, our purpose, and then we're going to confirm the 2030 goals and maybe identify an additional goal. We have 3, but I think even that at the summit, we did talk about adding an additional one. And so the way they suggested breaking it down, I feel like it flows really, really well, so I'm sticking to when I broke it up, I broke it up into those meetings, just like Travis suggested. You guys all good with that?
Yes.
All right, so here's where we are. We have a lot of slides to show where we are. And so let's look at our KPIs. I know we already looked at them together the other day, and we started talking about what do we notice, wonderings, what's on track. Any subgroups you want to talk about. So let's just talk about what we notice and wonder on the KPIs, and while we're doing that, I'm gonna bring our buddies back up. In case they're sleeping. There they are.
One thing I mentioned when he presented this is that with these new colors, it's not good contrast. Like I can't even see these graphs. I can see the dark ones, but I think there's some lighter ones underneath them that shows the change.
I think that's the district.
That's
The
the
light is the
district.
district and the dark is us.
The
Yeah.
dark is us. And then the red line is where we're trying to get to, right?
That's our I'm glad you described that, yes. If you look at the very top, it says current district performance is the lighter gray. If you can't see it, we're past it. And
Okay.
so like, and you're right, it is kind of hard to see.
I'm just saying for access for our parents with
Yes, we even have
different
the lights on.
abilities.
Yes. And so, and then it has calculated what our 2030 goal would be. Yes, you. Look through anything you notice, or even remember what we talked about.
Can you
before.
remind me how they identified school climate?
School climate it's the 2 stars. It is, and I think that's something else I really want to share with you guys. In addition with all of this is the school climate data. That is a combination of several factors. It's a combination of behavior, which I have added behavior to my principals update for you guys today. It looks at discipline, office referrals, because when the students refer to the office, it's put into Infinite Campus. And then that data is pulled by the state, and depending on like the number of violent offenses, it affects your rating. Attendance affects that rating as well. And they look at that piece. And it's the school climate survey ratings that are done by students, teachers, or students, staff, and families. And so it's the survey typically opens about this time. I believe it's opening December 1st this year. I looked it up. And you have a couple of months to give it. And the last year there was a very small sampling of families that completed it. It was also done like in March. And so if you think about how things were last year in March, oftentimes the sampling you get may be skewed by things that are happening in the community at that time. But yes, that is definitely it's already one of our goals.
And does that go along with the staff engagement percentage and the family engagement percentage?
The
The
staff
climate surveys?
engagement is typically pulled from, and I would need to just it's going to be our Gallup survey that the teachers do. We call it the best friend survey because
Okay.
one of the questions is, do you have a best friend at work? And, but it's the Gallup survey, and, that factors in.
Yeah. Because something that I just did to start off with is I looked at where we're below the district, and 3 of the 4 things that I picked up on have to do with engagement and climate. So I would definitely say like that could be a goal. And I really think that school climate survey, it was such a small sample of our school that could be a simple goal to just get the word out a little better, and get a higher sampling, which I think
typically
would raise that.
We'll try to put it out also, like once it opens, I try to put it out when we have events also. you know, because you may miss somebody this time, but you might catch them another time, on it. But
Is
there's,
that what we're,
that's not the one that's next month.
oh, the one?
No, there's a family engagement survey by the district that's coming out next week. And so tell me the ones that you highlighted.
Well, just to do
So-
with that, I did the school climate, the staff engagement, and the family engagement, because we were below the district norms.
Which is,
The family engagement supports student success,
yes.
and then the staff engagement percentage of engaged staff, and then
So-
school climate.
This question, that family engagement survey, that one is the survey that's starting next week.
Okay.
So that is something to pay attention to. I will have to look to see supporting student success.
So
Maybe with conferences happening at this time too, and parents taking the survey, maybe at the same time they'll see that. So maybe we need to give the families the family engagement survey after, like
Mhm.
teachers could say, thank you for attending conferences, please complete the
They
survey.
drop it into the,
Yeah.
messages while they're conferencing with
Yeah.
parents. And
Yeah.
say, hey, don't forget.
Yeah, I feel like in years past, we've had to like fill something out after we did a conference. I don't know if it was.
It
like
was
I
just
did
a Google
conference.
sheet that I did.
I did a
yeah.
conference, it was some, okay, but I mean,
Yeah.
throw that in there.
But I will say, if you ask parents to do two things, they're going to do one of
Yeah.
them.
I had
So-
to ask them to do a Google form, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
they won't
so,
have that.
yeah.
Any points from the peanut gallery over here?
what is percentage of Infinite Campus parent portal accounts?
Yes, they are actually,
Does that mean they're active?
that they have activated their parent portal account, and I can tell you that Mr. Kasike is. They've created a dashboard where he can see and he can check and see who has access and who is. Not connected yet, and he is going through systematically and reaching out to families, sending them emails, hey, let me know, I can help you set it up. To try to increase that, because part of family engagement nowadays is just, checking in, and
Couple
seeing how
clicks.
grades are.
And do they do that per household or is it for every parent?
I think it's it's gonna be per student. That
I
has
feel like
been
they keep sending it
activated.
To Mark, and
For-
I'm like, I
but
got
I
it.
think
Not
it's-
that you have to log in, just that you've activated it.
But,
Okay.
but it's just for one student has one parent,
Yes,
not that
yeah,
one
yes,
student
yes,
has.
yes,
It
yes.
has every,
No,
okay.
no, no.
One
no, no,
student has one
correct.
parent.
Sorry, I
One account.
misunderstood.
One that, yeah,
One
Um,
respond.
My number one is always literacy, but I wonder, why don't they include mathematics proficiency as well? As part of their overarching goals, like district goals literacy, but there's nothing on here about math.
It's got milestones, isn't that both?
It
Milestones
has the
stands?
literacy up there.
I think they really wanted a back to basics.
I know,
Like-
but I think you're right, though.
Well, one of
Why
their
not?
goals
And I wonder
is,
I wonder if, because the district goal is looking at eighth grade math,
Mhm.
if they left off the elementary one, but I will give that feedback as to we're not gonna be able to get them there in eighth grade if we're not looking at it sooner.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I bet you that is why, because they're looking at third grade literacy. Because there's a direct correlation.
Of course.
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
But that's a great,
one of
great
their
question.
goals is third and eighth.
We both look.
Yeah. Huh, I hadn't even know. Say it again, Javier.
Question, does anyone know why we're tracking Black students but not Hispanic? Because of the size of the population, or?
The reason why we're tracking Black students and suspensions is because the district has historically been disproportionate with more Black students having suspensions than other racial ethnic or ethnicities. And so I think that is so that we can reduce.
Bias,
Yeah, thank you. I was looking for the.
reduce bias,
No, I was.
perceived bias.
Yeah, we're talking about proficiency. There's a subgroup proficiency for Black students and for growth in Black students, but not for Hispanic.
Subgroups, they have the English learners. Looking at that growth. But you're right, they
Not
didn't
every
put
English
Hispanic.
But I thought they, for the same reason you just explained discipline, they explained that for this subgroup as well.
I think they chose that.
But I understand what you're saying,
I do
Javier.
understand. I will ask to try to get clarification from Travis because that's very true. Why not math? Why not Hispanic? Students. Plus, it had to fit on one page. Just kidding. Awesome. With our data, any of that pop out at you? The thing about students with disabilities, that group changes almost every year as far as who are the tested kids. As new students become eligible, but yes, we can definitely grow there. I agree with the ones you guys pointed out. Keep those in mind as we keep moving forward, okay? And hold all that in your head because we're gonna switch gears a second. I'm hiding you people again. All right, so we are, as a Go team, the first thing, if you remember, the first thing was mission and vision. So we're gonna start with looking at mission and vision. We're gonna use this slide as well as the next couple of slides to look at our current mission and vision and to decide. If you remember, Travis's suggestion when we met was to start with when we look at our mission and vision and where we're at, to do that like fist to what's it called? Fist to hand, that, you know, where you take, if you love it, you keep it at a 5, 4, 3, 2. Like a 3 is, it's okay, I can live with it. A 2 is no, we got to change something. A 1 is like, this is bad, and 0. But 4s, 5s, that's probably something we can live with. So here's APS's, very much simplified from what it was in the past. I do think a simple vision that you can remember it, say it, communicate it is so much easier to live and to keep out there. So I do like how they simplified.
So you got away from the career readiness one for the district, right?
Correct.
Okay.
This is where we're at now. And so let me get my slides moving.
It was
So-
wordy. It was wordy.
It was.
Yes, so you can see on our old strategic plan up at the top is where our mission and vision are. So if you look at the difference between the mission and vision alignment of who we are and why we exist, and this is our current mission and vision. The mission is on the left, the vision is on the right. You could give you a second to read through it. And took it off our website so we could see it a little better here.
It should. I'm gonna change that right now. It should be.
It doesn't matter because it's all changing anyhow.
Yeah.
And then I also just plugged it in. If we were to use that vision without the mission with it, but to go back, how do I get back a slide? It's going forward. I want to go back. All right, so how do we feel if I kind of stuck there? Is there work to be done on if this was something like our mission vision, is there work to be done from here? Think about what you'd give it, a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. And we'll check.
I like how you added for all.
Yes.
Yeah, I did add that. That was my edit when I
I
started.
like that.
Mhm.
I didn't edit it for this. I've edited that all year.
I'm at a 2 for learning is a passion line.
All right, so you are the 2 because you don't like where learning is a passion,
No, not for the line, just the line.
just that part.
Mhm.
How about everybody else? How do you feel? Be wordsmithy. You guys have lived it.
I am okay with deleting learning with learning with a passion. Learning is a passion. And connecting where excellence is achieved for all and the whole child is developed.
You guys have it in front of you, because I'm gonna come to the next slide where we
What
can.
could we say about learning instead of it being a passion? Because it's actually not a passion for everyone.
You're right. Not everybody's passionate about learning.
Right.
We want them.
Mhm.
to
Could we
learn.
get
So-
student feedback on that? I'm sorry. Sorry to interrupt.
No, you're fine. That's a good question. Could we get student?
We could,
feedback?
maybe we could give them some proposals and let them help us.
I know.
So what would be
Do we
some
want
that,
to include any, sorry,
no, go ahead.
I like process things out loud. So I
That's
like
good.
say things
No.
and I might not like the things that I say and I work through it. So if I say anything, it's just like, I have to say it out loud because doing it inside it's just like, so when we talk about learning, do we want to go off the kind of like using some of the word where we're talking about empowering students, like where students feel empowered and excellence is
I
achieved,
like
or
that.
I like
Um,
that.
so kind of working through like learning should be
Continuous.
continuous, but it should also kind of be the product of everything that's happening, whether they
And I
know they're
hope that
learning or
what we're
not.
doing here would be empowering students to want to learn.
Mhm.
Because it's not a passion for every
Mhm.
student. But what could we do?
Like creating a desire. to learn.
Empowered to learn, yeah.
To create an inclusive community where students are empowered to
To learn.
learn.
Yeah, I like that,
Mhm.
and
Or
to
either.
learn. Cause it's like
Mhm.
you're giving them, yeah, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the things that, like, they might be learning about personal skills, they might be
Mhm.
learning how to mold.
Social
and
skills.
Social skills,
Soft
how to have
skills.
I like
self-regulate.
empowered
Yes.
to learn.
Yes.
In every, and that goes along with IB,
Yeah, yeah.
are they being self-reflective?
It's
Are
agency.
they, yes.
Mhm.
Creating inclusive communities, it's important to learn.
I don't know about excellence is
Is
achieved
achieved.
for all.
We
I
want
feel
it to
like
be.
we're saying we want to have continued growth, continued improvement, like, what would that? It's not like, not
To
everyone's
create
gonna
an
be
inclusive
excellent, but they're gonna
community
continue to
where
move forward.
Students are empowered.
Is strived for all.
Excellence.
Yeah, something like is
Excellence is a
available.
priority.
Mhm.
Well.
I like the growth.
You want like continuing to move forward, whatever that.
Yeah, check it.
We're going there.
I have excellence is strived for all, make great efforts to achieve or obtain something.
That's not it.
I don't
Okay.
think we need excellence. I think it's just a continued growth process where
Empowered
they're
to learn.
Continuous learning.
How about continued growth
I like
is
that.
celebrated?
Okay,
Maybe continued growth is expected. I don't know. I'm just,
is continued growth. I feel like
Is
there's a better word
celebrating
for
in their
continued.
growth.
Continuous.
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 And we don't wanna
Empowered
make it
to
too
learn.
wordy. We
Yeah.
want to keep it simple.
So that doesn't go there.
I know, I gotta.
Where
Students
students
are
creating inclusive community where students are
continuous
empowered to
growth.
learn,
No.
continually
Are
grow.
are empowered to learn with
Students are empowered to learn, comma, encouraged to grow. And the whole child is. And,
I'm just putting it, you
Yeah.
can keep playing.
and
What does that really mean? The whole child is developed.
Means that where we focus on
I hear that.
social, emotional, we focus on the
Mhm.
behavior, which we kind of built in with.
Creating a well-rounded child, basically.
Yeah, empowered to learn, encouraged to grow while the whole child is developed. Art,
An inclusive community committed to continuous growth,
ooh,
to continuous learning. I don't know,
committed
something.
To
to
create an inclusive
continuous growth.
I feel like
Continuous learning.
I don't wanna like sound bad, but could we take out everything below that? Encourage, could we just say create an inclusive community, committed to continuous growth where students are empowered to learn? Cause wouldn't like the wraparound be having to do that
Inclusive.
That's
inclusive
part of the continuous growth,
and continuous?
because we're
like-
growing the whole child. right? Or encourage.
Yeah, okay.
Create
At
an inclusive.
at this point, are we still creating or are we fostering? Do we feel like we have achieved a great foundation?
No,
No.
but we
But
could
that's our
say,
mission, yeah.
we'd have some.
Mhm.
Instead of creating, it sounds like we are emphasizing, we are fostering, we are,
I like fostering.
I like fostering. Could it be,
To foster? We start out with two.
yeah,
Foster and to art.
I would really love to get some student feedback.
Yeah.
I think that'd be great.
I think they're gonna need a different term than foster.
Mhm.
We could have a draft and then we could get their input. I've got to do some work with fourth and fifth, for the DLI advisory still, so I could build this in and get fourth and fifth grade input on.
It feels cut off,
Is
like
this
where
what-
students are empowered to learn, like just to balance it. I don't know what the balance is, but or
Are we gonna have a table at Fall Festival?
I don't know,
Go team?
because we could get input from others, yeah.
I have a feedback box.
what are the iPads?
We're not, that wasn't for this time.
Oh.
Initially, we thought they would be launching this to school climate survey, but they're not,
Yeah,
yeah,
okay.
unless she wanted, Jessica may. Foster an inclusive community committed to continue, we got a lot of C's. Committed to continuous growth. The students are empowered to learn. And
If we didn't have continuous growth, we could say where students are empowered to learn
Foster an
and
inclusive
grow.
community that empowers students to grow and learn.
That empowers students to learn, grow continuously and develop as a whole person. And we took out the whole child.
that empowers
Foster an
students
inclusive community that empowers
to
students to grow.
grow and learn. And what did you say?
What empowers every student to learn, comma, grow continuously.
All students,
To learn,
that empowers all students. Grow and learn. What did you say?
I had to learn and grow
Inclusive community
continuously.
That inspires continuous learning and growth.
Say it again.
We're getting,
Cultivate an inclusive community that inspires continuous learning and growth. I liked,
You like cultivate?
I like foster an inclusive community that empowers students to grow and learn. It's just straight, simple, to the point.
And you said something at the end of yours, yeah, that went to the,
Mine is to foster an inclusive environment that empowers every student to learn, grow continuously, and develop as a whole person or whole child.
yeah, that's me.
you like that? To foster, say it again.
An inclusive environment or community
Child, like, I feel like, yeah, okay.
that empowers every student to learn, every or all, comma, grow continuously, and then continuously. And then if we leave in and develop a whole child or develop as a whole child.
I think we can keep that off.
So to foster an inclusive community that empowers every
Like the
student.
whole, you know, for
and continuously grow, grow continuously.
What'd you say, Javier?
But I do like the whole child part, that I think it's important to have it there somewhere, especially first, because that's the vision, right? That's the end goal, that we have a fully developed whole child coming out of the school.
Sounds weird to say as a whole child. Like it's a whole kid.
Uh-huh. What's another way to say whole child?
I mean, what are we truly saying? What are you
The
saying?
intangible parts of learning.
So you're
like
saying the empowerment, you're saying the self-actualization, do we want to say something about IB traits? Would that be the whole child? Or are we saying, like, I feel like because I feel like I would like to get away from like jargon if
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of our strategic plan and a lot of our priorities is a lot of jargon. So when we're saying whole child, what exactly do we mean by that? So that there is no room for interpretation, you know?
It's interesting because theirs is to educate and empower Atlanta students
Yeah.
to shape the
Like
future.
very basic.
Yes, and so
And I
This
think,
is what ours
when we get
was.
into our strategic priorities, the whole child will definitely be one of our, like our care team and developing. I'm just trying to like keep it as basic and as free from jargon.
Fostering inclusive community that empowers and grow.
no, we're the
No
most
more.
likely that I was
Yeah.
talking about.
So is the goal to keep it more simple? It should be.
Yeah, yeah.
As simple,
So would it be learn and grow continuously? And stop right there?
learn, grow,
Guys,
lead.
every student needs to learn and grow continuously.
Oh, what about just learning, grow?
Learn and grow.
Should we say
What's the main?
It's why we exist.
Yes, what's the main
Yeah.
purpose of our being?
Mhm.
For students to do what?
Be successful.
Be
in life.
successful in life. And in order for them to be successful in life, what do they need to do?
They need to be empowered and they need to learn.
Okay,
And read.
so those are the
Read.
things that need to stay. They need to
Focus
be
and
empowered,
inclusive.
and they need.
And for everyone.
To learn
And that's where the inclusivity.
to learn and grow for success in life. I heard you guys say it.
To foster an inclusive community that empowers every student to learn and grow.
To learn, grow, and in life.
To learn, grow, what'd you say?
To learn, grow, and have success in life.
Okay, and have success.
Communities, grow,
And be successful in life.
I like
Now we're
achieve
getting into
success
it.
in life.
Achieve, yeah. I like it.
So, yeah.
Okay,
To foster an inclusive community that empowers every student to learn and grow and achieve success in life, whatever that may be for that.
for them.
child.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Mhm,
And whenever, I mean, it
Yes.
might be
mhm.
tomorrow.
Right. This will be our draft. We're gonna sit in it.
Mhm.
All right, because I'm sure when you're, driving, sleeping, something's gonna come
Don't make
up.
me up in the middle of the
Mhm.
Um, But
And for the part where we are Sarah Smith, could we maybe say an international American school or not necessarily need that?
who we are? We are Sarah Smith.
For following the.
Like a
district.
subtitle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like a little subtitle.
And do we formally say Sarah R or just Sarah?
Like these schools.
Yeah, our name, it's like, are we Sarah R, are we Sarah Ross?
And there's so many.
There's so many different spellings,
there's
like
so
Dave
many,
has
yeah,
some,
like-
we have some, I don't know how to fix that. Um,
I know this is just shorthand for now, but for official print, do we Okay, do we spell out IB?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I couldn't fit it in there.
Can I just have the mission again, right down to learn?
Right here.
Did she,
Did
did we have to follow?
Learn,
Oh,
grow, and achieve this one. Thank you.
Yeah, I was about to copy this and put it on.
Thank you.
Yeah, IB was authorized school. We'll put that in there. Um,
I don't like the R in there.
yeah, I think we just mostly Smith,
Yeah.
we exist. I cannot stand that blue against the red. It is
It's not good
we don't
contrast,
miss
but
it.
also in any of our paraphernalia. So.
All right. All right, we can play with that. We'll get some feedback from fourth and fifth. And see how they wordsmith it. Phew. All right, it's 4:14. We're gonna continue. 'Cause I think we can get this.
Well, we still have public comment. Do we have people sign up for public
We
comment?
have one person sign up for public comment.
Okay.
I don't know, are they here?
Did we send them the Zoom? They are not yet,
Okay.
so maybe they're waiting to jump in when we get there.
Comment, yeah.
And I can cut my stuff really short, just to kind of share with you guys. So I'm going back to, what's in the chat? Oh, yes. Oh, that's pretty too. Javier, that's pretty good too. I just saw the chat. My apologies. Let me get back to my slides. Show it big. All right, so the next step is to look at our continuous improvement plan goals for this year. Oh, I must shrink you guys again. Boom. And so at the top, the 1, 2, and 3 are our continuous improvement goals, which are to improve literacy. And I did about 5 points for each, because you're not gonna get that 20-point gap if we don't get started. And so, so these are all at roughly 5 plus. And then for this year, I put for our third goal is that we're gonna move that school climate rating from 2 out of 5 stars to 3 out of 5 stars by improving student attendance and student self-management skills. And that's what we're really working on as a school. So these are our 3 goals. To adjust them, I brought them down here. I think I do need to move. I noticed after I compared my math of adding 20 points, that it should be 73.3%. For the reading, the math is at 70%. And then to move us to 4 out of 5 stars. All right. And so these are the 3 goals moved down to a multi-year goal. But I do think you guys were all talking about that engagement piece before when we were looking at the KPIs. So I do think we need an additional goal that would go on our strategic plan that we had 4 before. No, we'd have these 3 at the bottom, and then if we wanted from our KPIs to add that 4th goal, I think it sounded like we were really focused on engagement of staff and families, students, staff. How do you guys feel about adding some sort of engagement goal? I like that idea. Yeah. Increase staff, and what's that spell, family engagement, and I can wordsmith that too. You guys good with that? And
And the family encompasses student and
increase student staff and family engagement. And we can play more with that as we meet next time.
and will we attach numbers to that?
We'll have the key performance indicators from here.
Okay.
That will go with it. And then we will, what'll be great, and will be, if that's one of our goals, then we'll establish those priorities underneath it. What we used to call priorities, now they call them, what was that word? I have to go back to that triangle to say it correctly. But if you guys are okay with saving time, we know we need something like, I'll play with it and bring it back for approval.
Yes.
Great.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I
So,
don't think, like, I don't think there's the student engagement KPI in APS level. Is it?
it isn't one of the KPIs, but I do think, one of the ways that I think I would say is some of our data on the school climate survey asks students, like, if they have a trusted adult in the building, there's somebody that they would go to. I think we have some data that we could add as a performance indicator for ourselves beyond here.
Be a student staff relationship percentage.
Say it one more time.
Let's see, there's the student staff relationship KPI and metric. So that
Yes.
one,
Student staff relationships. Yeah, that was the one. Yeah,
Yep, that's the one.
it is on there. So we have lots of room to grow.
Mhm.
I do think that would be a good one.
That hurt my heart.
Huh?
That one kind of hurt my heart.
It is because, and I think sometimes they don't understand what, and there could be that there's not somebody, but typically somebody's got a favorite adult. I'd wonder sometimes if being a split campus affects that because we're not in the same school with those trusted people anymore.
It says feels comfortable going to most or all of the adults in the school.
Mhm.
Well, I think that's hard, especially for the way our school is set up.
Yeah.
Like if you're in grade and
You're
you're
brand new.
new to a school and you felt so comfortable, you have to reacclimate yourself to all the faces that you're gonna be seeing. So maybe if there's like a parade of teachers, like these are
Yeah,
your teachers, this is what they do, or, because there's a lot of staff.
yes, there are those.
And so a
Believe
lot
me.
of student, and if you don't interact with them, like,
I don't know them all.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, so if there's a way to make it more fun, exciting, friendly, like,
This is informational.
Principal's report, yeah, right.
Thank you for a very thorough discussion period. We will now move to information items. First is the principal's report, followed by the APS 2040 comprehensive long-range facility plan brief update,
It's very brief.
and then a brief cluster advisory sharing from Ms. Perot, and if there's any additional information from Ms. Kelsey Bunker.
Yeah, it's gonna be Kelsey because Miss Perot missed that one. But I do think Alfonso went to that one for
He
me.
did, yeah, he was there.
So I'm gonna minimize you guys again. I'm sorry.
need a second screen.
I know I do need a second screen. I'm actually working on that. So I wanted to add, although 96% of our students have 0 behavior referrals, I did add in the behavior data this time because it is an area that we're really working on with our students. And when you say you're working on behavior, sometimes it sounds like the school is totally unruly and things are going nuts. But when I tell you that 96% of students haven't had an office referral, and here you can see the number of office referrals we've had this year. You can see the incidents by student, like how many kids have had 0 incidents, how many have had 1, how many have had 2 to 3, how many have 4+. We have a few students who are really struggling with behavior. And so we don't want it to become contagious because sometimes seeing some inappropriate behavior causes others to have it. You can see where the incidents fall by grade. And when we look deeper into our data, we can see where those incidents happen. And the incidents, the top 2 locations right now are classroom and recess. You could figure. And so those are areas, as a matter of fact, the staff, we just, as a leadership team, went through talking about recess expectations, recess what do we need to teach the kids to make sure they're doing at recess? What do teachers and staff that are at recess need to be doing so we can refine some of our practices as well? And we'll be rolling out reminders, reteaching in the next couple of weeks. We literally did that Tuesday. The biggest areas that we're having, it's really pretty new, is some racial name calling. It's been typically between our Hispanic students and our Black students calling each other names, not the same kids calling each other names, but we've had some of those things like they're hearing in music, they're hearing in the community, they're hearing, and it's coming out of their mouths. And so many, we're actually meeting with our SEL behavior specialist for the district to see if she has some additional strategies, some instructional practices that we can put into play to help the kids understand, because they don't get that historical context that we do, that you cannot say that word, even though you hear it in other places, you just don't say those words, you don't call them that name. And trying to get that to sink in, but trying to get some additional ideas outside of our walls to help us. It's not pervasive, but it's happening. And if it happens once, that's once too many. And so we are seeing just in the last couple of weeks, really, that start. We have some itty bitty ones. When you see battery of school employee, I know you're picturing, big kids beating up teachers, and really it's little ones throwing temper tantrums and going at whoever is near them. So I hate that it says that, but that's what it is. But that is also what counts against us when it goes up, because even if it's a little one, if they're harming teachers, even without anything permanent, it's still an issue. And then running out of class. Those are, and the rough play at recess. These are our big areas that we're working on. And I wanted you all to see that, because sometimes you hear about things, but to see that the number of real instances after 58 days of school this is where we are at.
Is there anything, like, just thinking, how many people are outside at recess?
There should be 3 classes outside at recess.
So does that
at
mean
one
3
time.
adults?
It would be a minimum of 3 adults, because sometimes there are paras out there as well. So when we met with the leadership team, they came up with some more supervision expectations. They talked about what that looks like. We typed it all up on a chart. They're sharing it with their teams. We're going to start monitoring it. Because it is a time of supervision, and it's not a break for the adults who are out there. But to say kids will do stuff even with you right there next to it, but it's just to say that you were right there and you saw it happen and you grabbed them right away.
Is there
And it's typically ball related, just to kind of, and so we also talked about, we're not allowed to take away recess from kids. And so to be able to have consequences, all right, it's going to be a ball free, and so like right now in 5th grade, they've made it ball free on Fridays. And so, some of those things that can be ball free Fridays, because you can't help, because all of a sudden what was flag football becomes tackle football, looks like the NFL,
Has there been any, I don't know what the rules are on this. Has there been any thought to perhaps having parents or your level 3 volunteers have additional recess monitors that could give up a lunch hour here and there, come during the hours of 10:30 and 1:30 and be another body on the
we
playground?
haven't discussed that.
Because there are parents that would be willing to do that. I'm not saying they would show up every day, but if it's an open 10:30 to 1:30, you could be a monitor, you have these rules of you're walking around, you're, monitoring. If it's, because 3 adults to 60 to 75 kids more in some grades, I mean, that's still a lot.
It is a lot. Luckily, the space is pretty
And
small.
sometimes just having a body, just
It's just
having.
making sure we're spread out.
Mhm.
Let's see if what we do first
Yeah.
works, what they came up with, and then see if we need to reach out.
So I have a question about once there's been an incident
Uh-huh.
and we
back.
follow the student code of conduct
Mhm.
on what the consequences are. How are parents communicated to if their child's been involved in an incident? If their child was called a name, how are parents told about that?
Mm.
Because I think that's really
Sometimes-
important, like,
Sometimes the teachers
Yeah.
do it, and sometimes the admin who handles it will do it. So it's probably, we need to define that if it comes to the office, that even if the teacher shares, that we still need to share.
Mhm.
because I don't,
typically-
yeah.
Yeah, kind of the protocol.
Because
Yeah.
we don't want,
What is the protocol?
like, if my child came home and told me that they were called a name or they had, something had happened to them
Mhm.
and no one had called me,
Typically, we call, but I will say there may have been instances. Like I know there was just recently one where we didn't call a parent. And because they determined it was an accident, not the name calling, but kicking. But if there is an instance where you're hearing that and the admin has handled it, like your kid goes, yeah, he went to the office, da, 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 then I would say contact admin, and that's a process we can cement. Because my expectation would be that we're calling. Or
And
minimally
then-
sending a message saying, hey, your child was called a name today. I want you to know we addressed it.
and then, I mean, I do think, I know we want to help, I want to make sure that the kids who are having struggles have support. And then there are kids in class with them who may have been subjected to be a child who's having a struggle. And parents do talk amongst themselves and say, this happened to my child. This happened to my child. And then parents start to wonder, how are we supporting that other child? And I know there's a lot of privacy that we
Yeah.
cannot get into, but I think it'd be helpful for parents to know, like, these are the range of the code of conduct issues. If it continues to go on at this rate for the year,
Mhm.
because parents are gonna wanna know, like, what are we
What do
doing
we
to
do
support
with
more
it?
than
Yeah.
just we're calling you to let you know what happened to your child,
Mhm.
like, what are
Mhm.
you doing to support?
Mhm.
So like those ideas of the monitors on the
Yeah.
playground,
Having
people are
protocol
gonna want
just to keep
that follow-up.
So like kind of what we could do is as we look at this data, we could share that
Mhm.
information, what we can.
Yeah,
in
that'd be
general.
great.
Yeah.
A lot of them are going through, the kids that are having the bad struggles are going through that multi-tier system of supports to find interventions or strategies that help them with that self-regulation. Because we're all looking.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing over there? Couple more things, guys.
Can I ask a question about the name calling?
Yes.
When that is happening, especially if it is being done where it's a larger, like if there's more than just the two students, right? If there was a group that was maybe witnessing or in the classroom or in the lunchroom or whatever it is part of the process doing a restorative circle with everyone that was involved, not just the students that were calling?
Typically, it could even go to the whole class, like if
Yes.
it's pervasive, but typically you try to do restorative. We typically don't do it immediately because we got to let people
Yep.
calm down and then pull them. Either Miss Lewis or the administrator or Miss Lewis is our counselor who will do that.
Awesome. Thank you.
All right, still moving on with that, but I think I'll continue to share that information so we can look at it over time. And also it helps to kind of dispel some of the perceptions that it's everywhere,
Mhm.
So talent development is starting in grades 2 through 5 right now. And I'm hoping I counted my numbers right. I was hoping Miss Moore would be here to make sure I counted right. But we identified 18 students in grades 2 through 5 that needed to that had a potential to hit on creativity. And so they are starting to be pulled for about 30 minutes on the days when the teachers have their talent development day in small groups to work on fluency, elaboration, originality, and flexibility, which are some of the things that are assessed. It was typically students whose achievement level, they had already performed over the 90th percentile. And if they had previous scores, they were expiring pretty soon. And so we want, meaning they're going to get to test again. And so they're starting to pull them. When students are pulled, they'll come home with a little note saying, you know, I had talent development today. We worked on XYZ, and it may even have suggestions of what you can do at home with that. In grades 2 through 5, we identified 36 students for mental ability. And one of the primary things that when they're pulling them out, they're going to be working on is that analogous thinking. You know, those tests we used to take, you know, hot is to cold, like
Yeah.
top is to, you know, and so because getting kids to think like that and to do that critical thinking to analyze those things.
And what will because there's no criteria under number 2.
It was 80% on previous mental ability test.
Okay, so for 2 to 5, only students needing help and creativity are being pulled, but
It was the students whose achievement level had been identified as already over the 90, so they already have that one. Oh, and if they've tested before, their score is expiring soon.
okay.
So that they can still test again. And then down here, if they had a previous mental ability test that was in the 80s, because you have to be at that 90 or over, they're starting to work on that. Now,
But those, I'm just asking, the students who are pulled for mental ability are kinder through 5. I mean, because just the way it reads, it seems like it's just 2nd through 5th.
this is just 2nd through 5th right now. Down here for kinder and first in January, we're going to start with them. There were so many students that were so close in areas that we decided we're going to do whole class talent development in kindergarten and first grade starting in January. That they'll work on it for 6 weeks prior to testing, and they'll work with all the students. And they're going to work on picture completion, picture construction, and repeated figures. Those are some of the areas that the kids struggle the most with on the testing that they do. And they're going to be going in for about 30 minutes for 6 weeks in each class.
And this is to prepare for spring math.
It's to prepare for gifted testing. What we're working on right now with talent development is the creativity and mental ability. With the map, with reading and math, they're working on it in the rooms right now. We're not pulling out for content-based development.
I'll ask you afterwards.
Okay.
I don't know why it's not something, I'm missing a word.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, keep coming back to it.
Yeah.
I promise I can ask, and we're developing it as we're going. And then I wanted to say the updates for DLI is, and I have this to show you. Let me see if I can move this again. Is we just went through today and looked at our DLI advisory council, and we'll be sending those notifications out. My goal is to get them out tomorrow or over the weekend. I need to analyze. Essentially, we had so few people to apply that everybody who applied is getting a notification. We did have to amend our original expectations because we weren't getting a diversity of people applying, because we had originally said that you couldn't be on it if you were already a board member of PTO or foundation or on Go Team. And so it would have looked very lopsided if we didn't. So we opened it up, and we have a pretty good representation. I'm still needing, I have Mr. Cacique reaching out. I would still like to get a couple of more Spanish speaking parents on there. And we need a primary teacher, English partner still. And so I reached out to them, but it's been good. We have new staffing for the Spanish math supports. I have some feedback, but and it's been great, but I will save that for the next time too. But the staffing is in place. Kids are getting support for small group instruction. If you're okay with holding that one to next time, I can do that. Because I know our kids are getting restless and our teachers and adults are too.
And then the last update would be from Kelsey.
Kelsey, do you have cluster?
I do. We had our first meeting. It was a lot of the stuff that we've covered already. Travis had a session at the beginning where he went over the strategic planning, the mission and vision, everything that we kind of just did, and what we did at the G3 summit. Went over all of that, talked about the KPIs, and what all that looks like, the strategic planning process, the data review, everything that we discussed. And then we did do breakout sessions where we got into our clusters. So we had our North Atlanta cluster. That first session with us was oh my gosh, that word just literally went straight out of my brain. The vice chair, that word, voting on, we were making the places, right? You understand what I'm saying? Thank you very much. But we voted on the positions. That's the word. We were voting on the positions for the cluster rep, and then voting on our next dates for the meeting. So we didn't really have a lot of like meat in that first cluster meeting. It was really just getting the position set, kind of just introducing ourselves, and then setting the meetings for the next session, which our next cluster meeting will be on November 18th, which is really the first one. They're calling it the cluster advisory meeting number 1 is on the 18th, since that was really kind of the start, the big informational piece at the beginning, and then voting and getting the meeting set. But if you guys have any questions or like anything that you're curious on, anything that you want me to mention at our cluster meeting where we'll really have more time with the North Atlanta cluster, let me know and I'll be happy to bring up any questions or concerns in the meeting.
Gracias.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. And there's just one more update on the long-range facilities plan.
If you haven't noticed or looked, they published out the plan that was shared on October 9th, that we will be repurposing the intermediate building that we are currently in, and then the primary building will get a renovation addition or a complete rebuild, of course dependent on East Blast. My question when they pulled us all together as principals is, what's the timeline? When will we know? They said once the board approves the recommendations, then they will start mapping out the timeline. As we know, nothing is before the 27-28 school year. And of course, ours would be very contingent upon building and getting that prepared. So we will, of course, be staying how we are for at least next year, and then we'll know from there where that is.
Probably question, do we address that now because it's the same topic, or do we do that later on?
Say it again.
So we had a public question related to this topic. Do we go forward and address that, or do we do it?
We have a public,
No, we'll do that.
we'll
during
do
the
public comment when we get to public comment.
And then we don't address the public. comment.
Yeah, and then we don't address it. We just listen. So we're almost to public comment. That's our very next thing.
You ready?
Yeah, I'm going to it.
So we are now at the section of public comments. The Go Team meetings are open to the public. School and community stakeholders are welcome to attend all meetings. However, participation will be limited to designated public comment periods. The Sarah Smith Go Team has voted to include a public comment period at every meeting during the current academic year. Stakeholders who wish to provide comments must sign up by 3 p.m. on the day prior to the meeting. Only individuals who have pre-registered will be permitted to speak. Each registered commenter will be allotted 2 minutes to share remarks, and commenters will be politely interrupted at the 2-minute mark to ensure all participants have an equal opportunity to speak. We will now start our public comment section.
Has that person entered?
Has the person entered the Zoom?
I don't see them in the Zoom. Do we know who?
Yeah, I could read their public comment. Would that be?
Yeah, let's go ahead, since we don't see them, if you have like what they were.
So we have Yao Wu, who has said he is a parent. And his topic that he would like to be addressed is, we should add a do nothing to the option. Why are we closing the new campus and spending more money, over $30 million, to renovate the old campus, especially considering it will take over 20 years to recover the investment?
So thank you for that public comment. We have it noted in here that we heard it. I'm sure there's more details as well. And that concludes public comment.
Does anyone have any announcements to share? Okay. If there are no announcements, we have reached the end of our agenda. Is there any additional business to share? If there is no additional business, may I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
This is Elizabeth. I motion to adjourn the meeting.
And a second.
This is Anne, I second.
Elizabeth motioned and seconded.
All in favor, please raise your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And abstentions. The meeting is adjourned at 4:45 p.m.
Everybody run. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's